Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Varsha Murdeshwar, a financial planner who works closely with individuals and couples preparing for life's major milestones. And as someone who has seen how money shapes not just our lifestyles but also our emotional security, I'm so glad you're here. Today's session is titled Smart Money Moves for Future Parents, which is a part of Hera's preconception journey. This is not about having it all figured out, but about asking the right questions early on. Whether you're single or partnered, whether you're actively planning for a child, or just thinking ahead, financial readiness gives you more freedom, more choices, and less stress when the time comes. Together, we'll walk you through the five major areas every future parent should think about: budgeting, insurance, emergency funding, investing, and using workplace support. I'll also share a few practical tools you can begin using today. Now that we've looked at why financial prep matters, let's begin with the most basic building block: budgeting. Why plan before pregnancy? As you can see, maternity costs right from preconception to delivery are rising. Average cost of childbirth in a private hospital in India ranges from 8,000 to 2.5 lakh rupees. If you have difficulty in conceiving, then IVF treatment can cost 1.5 to 3 lakhs per cycle. That's a lot of money. Maternity related complications might keep you away from work without a steady income for a long time. Hence, it is essential to sit down with your partner and estimate all costs and plan for them in advance. What is budgeting? Budgeting is a process of estimating future revenues and expenses, setting financial targets, and creating a plan to manage income, expenses, and assets effectively. So, if today I have an active income, what am I going to spend on? Living expenses. Basic expenses like rent, groceries, utilities, insurance payments, transport, clothing, and the like. Lifestyle expenses. Value add like travel, entertainment, socializing, buying a car. Dependent expenses. Supporting parents by sending them money every month or paying for a sibling's education are examples of dependent expenses. And the most important, loan EMIs. Could be a home loan, car loan, or a personal loan, which needs to be paid every month without fail. Some expenses are fixed, like rental and EMIs, while some are variable, like travel and entertainment. Some are discretionary, others are non discretionary and compulsory. And that's why you need to strike a balance between spending on the right causes and saving enough for the future. As a thumb rule, you should target to save at least 5 to 10% of your monthly income. For example, if you are earning a salary of rupees 50,000, try to save 5 to 10,000 per month. In order to have an effective budget, you have to define your needs and wants. Needs meaning must have, like housing, food, clothing, education. Wants are nice to have, but no compulsion. For example, travel, impulsive shopping, buying a car. Lower the wants, higher the savings. Typically, needs 50%, wants 30%, and savings 20% is a good allocation to start with. However, it also depends on your own life stage and family responsibilities. So, if you're a single person with a good income, you may reduce your needs to 40%, wants to 20%, and thus achieve a high savings rate of 40%. Let me share my own story. After I qualified as a CA, my first salary was 13,000 per month. Yes, it was a big amount in the late 90s. I spent 4,000 on myself, 4,000 towards family expenses, and saved 5,000 for upcoming goals like marriage. That's a 38% savings rate. And yes, after 3 years, the accumulated amount did help in funding marriage expenses in a big way. So every drop counts. With the foundation set, let's talk about how to protect the people who depend on you. Term insurance is a tool to secure your family's future needs or providing for them in your absence. So, if you are the main breadwinner and you have dependents like parents, spouse, or children, you must have a term cover. How much cover is enough? Well, as a thumb rule, it should be 10 to 15 times your annual income. So, if your income is 6 lakhs per annum, you might be good with an insurance cover of 60 to 90 lakhs. However, insurance is not a one size fits all product and should be customized to your family's needs. Ask yourself, what are the monthly expenses of my dependents? How long will the expenses last? How will inflation affect future expenses? What are my current outstanding liabilities? How much do I need for my child's higher education or marriage? Although an estimate, this will help you arrive at the desired insurance amount. Premiums will be low if you buy when young and medically fit. Higher the age, higher the premiums. Also, medical conditions and high BMI lower the chance of getting you that policy. So buy now. Also buy from a trusted advisor even if you have to pay a little more. Because in the case of unfortunate demise, he will help your family in securing the claim. Next, we are going to dive into one of the most overlooked but most essential planning tool, health insurance. Health insurance is a means of protecting your assets by transferring the risk of hospitalization costs to an insurance company. Nowadays, most companies offer group medical benefits to employees and their families. So, first of all, review the medical benefits available under your group policy. Amount of overall annual cover, family members covered, type of hospitals, pre-post hospitalization cover, type of treatments covered including maternity. Medical costs are rising at an alarming rate, and in all probability, the cover will not be sufficient. Complement it with a personal plan for lifelong adequate coverage. Look for a plan with attractive features like no capping on room rent, longer pre-post hospitalization cover, wide network of hospitals, cover for advanced treatments, high bonus, and of course competitive premiums with a company with a good claim history. You may also add a maternity rider, but buy early as there would be a 24 to 36-month waiting period. There are a lot of plans in the market. Do your own research or take help of a trusted advisor. Let's shift from protection to preparation. This is your financial cushion, the emergency fund. Emergencies have a way of showing up when least expected, so be prepared, always. As a thumb rule, set aside 6 months of expenses in an emergency liquid fund. Emergencies like job loss, medical emergencies, unexpected dependent needs, house repairs, etc. For example, if your monthly expense is rupees 40,000, then emergency fund of rupees 2.5 lakhs to 3 lakhs should be maintained. However, if you are conservative, you may also consider a higher fund up to 12 months of expenses. Emergency funds should be maintained in safe assets like savings account, sweep and FD, or liquid mutual funds, which are easily accessible without risk of loss of capital. Emergency funding should be built gradually from monthly surplus. Do not depend on credit card to fund emergencies. Now let's think ahead. What do you do once you've saved enough for emergencies? It's time to invest smartly. Here we are talking about investing for short to medium term goals maturing the next 2 to 7 years. For example, down payment on upcoming home loan, professional upskilling, and of course, maternity related expenses. Some relevant options are fixed deposit of bank or good rated companies for regular interest income, mutual funds, a mix of equity, debt, and hybrid types for better returns, and safer instruments like NSC or RBI bonds. Avoid locking up funds in long-term products like PPF or real estate just before starting a family unless it is for self-occupation. Now let's add a timeline to all that we discussed before so you can have an idea of the to-do list before starting a family. 18 to 24 months, build a decent savings habit. Start an emergency fund. Buy term and health insurance. Track fertility-related costs if applicable. 12 months before, track expenses. Reduce unnecessary or wasteful expenses and boost savings. Review maternity, paternity leave eligibility with your seniors. 6 months before, finalize a transition budget, expected delivery cost, newborn needs, and sharing of financial responsibilities with spouse. And finally, how can your workplace help? Let's explore what HR can do and what you can ask for. Seek clarity from HR about your health insurance coverage and limitations, if any. Cost of delivery, normal, C-section, post-delivery complications to mom or baby. If anything is not covered, make separate provision for the same. Discuss about maternity leave policy and extension if required, with or without pay. Co-design phased return and work from home opportunity if available. Any employee engagement programs like financial planning workshops to handle the new phase of life. Remember the PREP method for financial planning. Planning. Set goals by timelines as stated before. Research. Understand policies, costs, and tools available. Establish. Take action on building emergency fund and insurance. Protect. Invest mindfully as per your risk profile and time frame of goals. That is the PREP method. Some final financial tips. Do not wait until pregnancy to start planning. Set expectations with your partner regarding sharing of financial responsibilities. Keep a monthly budget tracker. Refer to the HERA action sheet. Reduce wasteful expenditure and prioritize savings and liquidity. Don't chase high returns. Set reasonable expectations. Use the sample family planning financial checklist. Refer to the HERA action sheet. Now let's discuss some real life case scenarios. Scenario 1. Shreya, 31, planning IVF and working at a mid-sized IT firm. Monthly salary 65,000, IVF costs 2.5 lakhs per cycle, health insurance, no maternity cover from employer. What worked? She had taken a personal cover early on with maternity benefit and related treatments. This helped cover part of the IVF treatment cost. Balance was funded by liquid funds accumulated by Shreya over time. HR also helped structure a 2-month extended leave for the procedure. Scenario 2. Rajat, 34, and Priya, 32, planning for a second child. Rajat has term insurance, but Priya doesn't. They never updated their emergency fund after the first child. What worked? For the second baby, they were more prepared. They built a baby to buffer through joint planning and also used paternity leave benefits Rajat didn't know existed before. These stories show how holistic planning helps in real life, messy, everyday situations than mere spreadsheets. Planning as a couple, not just an individual. Having a baby is a joint decision, and hence all planning should be done together. Contribution towards baby and other expenses should be split reasonably between the partners, even if one is the primary earner. Plan your leave, maternity and paternity as per the company policy and as per your own requirements so that baby is well taken care of and mother also gets requisite support. In case you need to take a break from work, have a backup plan for salary interruptions so that your normal monthly budget does not get disrupted. Have a regular check-in with your partner regarding savings target and other milestones. This can be done quarterly. This table shows a comparative chart of maternity-paternity policies in India. As you can see, TCS allows 6 months of maternity and 2 weeks of paternity leave, while Infosys, Google and government sectors allow 26 weeks. Some have phased return option, while others have a buddy support and work from home integration. Government sector allows extended leave with prior approval. Hence, always ask HR about internal extensions, sabbaticals, or optional benefits not listed in the official handbook. Some red flags and pitfalls to avoid. Delaying insurance and waiting till pregnancy is confirmed. This is not a good idea, especially if your employer cover does not have maternity benefits. Take insurance early so that the waiting period is accounted for. Mixing funds. Earmark funds for various goals. Do not use emergency funds for other goals like vacation or marriage. Overcommitting. Do not invest in high-risk products for short-term goals. Have reasonable return expectations and focus on protection of capital. Do not rely totally on employer insurance. Complement it with a personal plan. And lastly, document all financial agreements with your partner. And finally, the key takeaways. Start early. Get a head start by planning much before pregnancy for flexibility and peace of mind. Smart budgeting. Save 10 to 20% of your income. Good habits build a happy and secure future. Insurance. Protect your assets and family's dreams with a term and medical insurance. Add maternity rider. Build an emergency fund. Minimum 6 months of expenses in liquid assets or unexpected needs. And finally, invest mindfully in short-term, low risk options. Thank you for joining me today and for engaging with this topic so openly. Parenthood is a huge emotional and physical shift, but it's also a financial shift. And often, the earlier you prepare, the less pressure you feel when big decisions arise. Whether your journey includes natural conception, IVF, adoption, or even pausing to figure out if parenting is right for you, money can either feel like a burden or a source of calm. My hope is that you leave this session with more clarity, more tools, and more confidence. Financial wellness is a gift not just to your future child, but to your present self. Let's keep these conversations going at home, HR teams, and in spaces like HERA. Thank you.